We're here in Amsterdam at the Money 2020 and we're here with Aeternity, is that correct?
Yeah.
Could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Luka and I'm part of the Aeternity team, the part that does the incubation and the acceleration of blockchain startups as of very soon.
Could you tell for the wider audience what does Aeternity do actually? What is the...
So it's really simple. We built the next generation blockchain. Meaning we tried to fix, and hopefully succeeded to fix all of the things that are actually troubling other blockchain projects and platforms, like throughput of transactions. We use state channels for that. We try to help the people who use smart contracts with oracles, decentralized oracles. That it's basically a way for a smart contract to interact with the real world and prove, or let's say, prove that a certain condition or certain action in the real world happened. So we interacted with this. A lot of many interesting things, but this is, let's say, the most one.
And you're here at Money 2020. Do you have some applications that will be interesting for the financial sector, of course?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we focus right now is the mobile. So mobile first, one of the things that's actually, I mean, the whole blockchain space is still in its infancy. And we just had a huge discussion internally, I mean, with Nikola Stoyanov, Chief Business Development Officer, and how important is the, let's say, the adoption of blockchain and the adoption of the new generation is actually on mobile. So we are really pushing this mobile angle, micro transactions, but also building distributed apps on top of mobile platforms, and coming in from there. That's why, I mean, I met so many interesting people here today, and I was actually surprised by the sheer size of this. Yeah, it's a really nice industry to be in right now.
Yeah, it's quite a big event. Yeah. So actually you're providing the underlying technology, for instance, when I want to pay with my mobile, you can provide the underlying...
This is one of the applications. I mean, it ranges from different things like identity, I don't know, payment in the smart contracts, and different kinds of things. I mean, many applications. It's like a whole new world out there. Yeah.
The big difference is that it will be on the blockchain itself,
exactly.
And that's for these conventional industries.
Yeah. If we talk about when we talk about Aeternity and Aeternity blockchain with fintech people and people from the industry, one of the main things is, let's say, the speed of transactions, the throughput. I mean, the whole bandwidth. Let's call it like this. The cost of it, the whole self. I mean, if you look at other, smart contracts and transactions, there's always a fee. I mean, exists also in our blockchain, but it's much more efficient and much more, let's say, cheaper than anything else that is available right now. And if you want to, let's say, highlight one of those things, I think it will be these state channels. It's basically a way to let's say, have a contract or a transaction which is not on-chain, so it doesn't let's say, load the main network. The only time when the whole transaction is pulled on-chain is in case of if anybody of the transees people who created transaction wants, or if there is some sort of a dispute. So it basically gives you the ability. It's a little bit like sharding and plasma in Ethereum. Yeah.
That's an interesting development. You're actually making sidechains possible. I understand.
Yeah.
And what are the next milestones for Aeternity? I mean, you already did an ICO, out of my head.
We did an ICO in 2017. I think it was April or something like this.
Good timing.
Good, perfect timing. I was not part of the team back then. I was just an admirer and a friend. So next milestones, we have a superb technical team, and everything is getting ready for the mainnet launch. We're developing amazing tools for developers to work on, SDKs, APIs. We have a lot of, let's say, showcases on the dApps. One of the things that I'm doing with Nikola and the rest of the team is the decentralized incubator. We call it the Starfleet. So we're trying to find a lot of, let's say, really interesting, innovative, disruptive ideas and teams who are trying to push the whole blockchain to mainstream and help them help them do so by, giving them some knowledge, investing in them, giving them the tools that we built so they can build it on top of that. And yeah, so when it comes to milestones, I would say, mainnet, the Starfleet Academy or the Starfleet Incubator, and all the partnerships we're going to announce soon is going to be very interesting.
So, and some when the time slot. I mean, when is the mainnet coming? I mean, it's.
Well, it depends. I mean, this is like if for anyone who've built a complex software project, they know how complex this is. So, sometime this summer. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not the guy who's. Thank God I'm not the project manager on top of this. He has a really tough day right now. But it basically, one of the things that Yanni, the founder, he decided, he said, look, we're not going to compromise. We're just going to make it the best ever possible, not to push to mainnet, as soon as possible. We want to really, be here for the long term and just do the things properly. So, yeah.
And actually, Eternity, it sounds a bit like, I'm not comparable, but like this incubator thing, we've seen it, for instance, with Dragon Chain. They're also trying to, is it like a new trend? Like you have your blockchain and also your incubator?
I think it's a logical step. One of the things, actually, if you look at the history of startups, in the last, let's say, a decade, there's a lot of movements exactly in this space. If you build a platform, you need other people to build on top of your platform. So if you look at Facebook, if you look at Twitter, if you look at Amazon, everyone who are in this space, this is the next logical step. Otherwise, it doesn't have the full capacity and the full use. So I think this is just the beginning, and that everyone who is in this space will definitely go into this direction, because right now, everybody compares this blockchain space as internet, in the 90s, beginning of the 90s, because there are no tools available, and if you wanted to build something, you needed to build it yourself. So there's going to be more and more projects trying to build platforms, and then all the startups coming there will not need, they will not need to, build it from scratch. They will just use something. I don't know, if you want to deploy a service right now, you don't write a server out of scratch. You go to, I don't know, AWS and then deploy it on top of, I don't know, through a container or something like this. So I think this is the way that this space is going to be. Really exciting.
You provide actually the infrastructure. There is quite an emphasis on protocols and platforms. Huh? How can you distinct yourself within? You got Silica, you got, of course, Ethereum, Icon, all these Asian blockchains.
I think, there's a couple of things. The first one is that, again, the things that the core team is building, it's really cutting edge. All of the things that were not implemented were never implemented so far. So it was research. Someone's PhD, someone's thesis. They say, I think this should work like this, but I don't know. I'm not a developer, so I'm gonna allow other people to build it. And I think we've proven that we can survive anything, all of the crashes, all of the things, and this industry is, it's really kind of volatile. And I'm not talking only about the price. I'm talking about all the things happening, again, this is very infant stage of the whole thing. So for us, I think resilience, adaptation, and the things that we're actually building are one of the main things. I think ideologically we are really believing that the blockchain, distributed ledger technology, decentralization, all these concepts are here not only to stay, but to kind of absorb everything and replace everything, that is out there and not optimized like this.
Last question, what's actually your personal motivation to be in this space?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I've been in this space for a long time, out of curiosity. I'm a very curious guy. And when I was a kid, I was 14, that was 1994. I watched the world around me completely evolve and dissolve. The internet was booming back then, and I was a kid. And I had no ability to, build things. So right now, I think this is like, exactly the same thing, but I'm now an adult with a lot of experience, and I can impact the industry a little bit, and I don't know, I love that.
Okay, yeah. Good. Thank you very much, and all the best with Eternity.
Thank you very much.
So go to the website eternity.io, I think. .com, and yes, interesting. Yeah.